Netflix has become the dark horse for original content, with the streaming giants distributing some of the greatest movies, including some of the best horror movies. Netflix is behind some of the unexpected hits such as Hush and Gerald's Game, and they don't seem to be slowing down, at least not right now. These are the top 5 Netflix horror movies worth watching, part 2. Let's jump in. Coming in at number 5, we have Malevolent. Now, Malevolent certainly divided viewers and critics, with folks either loving it or hating it. But as a fan of Florence Pugh, this has my total backing. Released in 2018 and directed by Olaf de Fleur, Malevolent is a British supernatural horror starring the likes of Florence Pugh, Ben Lloyd-Hughes, and Scott Chambers, with it centering on a group of scam artists who make money by faking paranormal occurrences. However, during a routine assignment at a country home, the team begins to get more than they bargained for, with the group beginning to lose their grip on reality. Now, the movie begins strong, but does quite quickly lose its footing along the way, going from effective ghost story to something more along the lines of torture. However, thanks to breakout star Florence Pugh, this movie doesn't completely fall apart, with her performance gripping viewers from start to finish. Now, like I said though, the ending of the movie is a complete and utter mess, descending into gory confusion. However, Pugh is enough to make you at least take a peek. Before we jump into number 4, make sure to hit that like button, it really helps us out a lot. Coming in at number 4, Ravenous. Now, this French-Canadian horror movie came out of absolute nowhere and blew everyone away in the best way possible. Released in 2017 and directed by Robin Albert, Ravenous depicts the residents of a small rural town in Quebec as they are forced to deal with a deadly outbreak leading to an attack by zombie-like creatures. Now, unlike the intensity of something like World War Z, Ravenous more so depicts the depressive state of the world if it were to fall victim to hungry zombies that want to eat everyone. The movie specifically centers on a small group of survivors who are trying to stay alive and jumping from one horrifying encounter to another. The movie is bleak, depressing, and lonely. It doesn't show unending chaos, but specifically the somberness of being a survivor while most of the world has disappeared. The film well and truly blew folks away, with it garnering praise from across the globe, with TIFF even adding it to the list of top 10 best Canadian films of all time. Not too bad. Like The Walking Dead, Ravenous almost implies that death may be a better end than attempting to survive a horde of zombies, and honestly, I agree. If zombies are coming, just kill me. Coming in at number 3, we have The Babysitter. Now, I'm still torn about The Babysitter, mostly because I'm still torn in life about Bella Thorne. I'm just so uncertain. But let's discuss the movie anyway. Released in 2017, which was apparently the year of the horror movie, The Babysitter was directed by McPhee and stars Samara Weaving, Robbie Amell, and Bella Thorne, with it following Cole, a guy who discovers that his babysitter belongs to a satanic cult. It's hard to discover that your first crush, who appears all innocent and sweet, is actually a raging Satanist. That sucks. Now, the movie, although dividing viewers, has since developed a cult following of sorts since it dropped on Netflix, with it even going on to have a sequel. The movie is quite stupid and unnecessary, but it's a movie that you can't help but enjoy and return to repeatedly. It's funny with some good spooky elements and a good distraction away from everyday life. It also helps that it stars Samara Weaving, who has since blown up thanks to the movie Ready or Not to mention she's also arguably the best part of the movie. I'm sure Bella Thorne fans will disagree with me. Cinema Craze went on to call the film a great horror comedy with a genuinely touching tale of growing up tucked underneath the buckets of blood and Satanism. The sequel, The Babysitter Killer Queen, went on to be released in 2020, with most of the original cast returning, including Weaving and Thorne. Coming in at number 2, we have I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House. Now, this gothic supernatural horror gave everyone a fright when it was released by Netflix back in 2016. This American-Canadian movie, written and directed by Osgood Perkins, stars Ruth Wilson as a live-in nurse named Lily, who begins to suspect that her elderly employer's house may be haunted. Now, I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House isn't your straightforward ghost story, and it has relatively no outright scares to speak of. Instead, it is incredibly moody and has a way of burrowing deep under your skin, rather than making you jump. Throughout the movie, Lily begins to witness haunting events inside of the home, such as a telephone being wrenched out of her hands by an unseen force, a figure in white walking backwards, and of course, black mold, which is seemingly spreading around the home. The film isn't the easiest to sit through, with it being a slow burn with very little payoff in the way of scares, but despite that, it is a movie that will linger in your mind long after it's finished. The movie did ultimately divide viewers, with many being disappointed with the lack of outright terror in the movie. However, April Wolf described it as, I quote, "the most atmospherically faithful adaptation ever of a Shirley Jackson book that never existed." She also went on to title it one of the best gothic horror movies out there, which is quite the statement. And finally, coming in at number 1, we have 1922. Stephen King very rarely steers us wrong, and this is yet another example of a King adaptation successfully scaring us silly. Released in 2017 and directed by Zach Hilditch, 1922 is based on the Stephen King novella of the same name and stars the likes of Thomas Jane, Neil McDonough, and Molly Parker, with the movie specifically following a Nebraska rancher who conspires to murder his unhappy wife for financial gain, and even convinces his son to participate in the act. Now, the movie is essentially a riff on murderous guilt, which is essentially the journey one character takes from good to downright evil. Now, the movie itself doesn't blow folks away, but it is incredibly impactful, especially in its imagery. At times, it is a slow burn, which is often the case with short stories being turned into films, but I do suggest you watch nonetheless, with 1922 having a handful of truly unforgettable scenes. Although the movie divided viewers, critics raved about it overall, with many ranking it among the more satisfying Stephen King adaptations. Now, while others believe it is a slow rot, others have praised the performance by Thomas Jane, with him delivering his most effective performance in his entire career. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with that list? Are there any Netflix horror movies that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do a part 3. Before I go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from one of our last videos. Top 5 biggest horror movie fake-outs. Neon War Machine said, the fake out in The Boy when he realized it's not a ghost movie but a serial killer movie. True, good twist, bad movie, to be honest. A lot of people yell at me for that. He's living in the walls. Yeah. Stephen Benner said, now that's an ending. I need to pee as well. Yeah. In the bloopers, I guess I said I needed to pee because I did need to pee. Right now, I don't need to pee, so it's great. Marijan Beltran said, I would love to see a list of horror movies with big plot holes, so big that even switching the brain off doesn't work. God damn, you can switch your brain off? I can't. I wish I could. If only there was a switch. I'd flick it every 5 minutes. But maybe that's a good suggestion. I feel like we've done that in the past. If not, something close. Maybe we can make it happen. Largo778 said, question, how can Lucy, an immortal force of darkness, have any age? Truth. Maybe I'm lying. Maybe I don't have a birthday. I'm just saying numbers. I'll never die. Jay Hilliard1 said, does anyone else start chanting Lucy, Lucy, Lucy when you click on a top 5 scary videos hoping she's the video's host? Hell yeah, I start chanting. I like to see me too. Charles Snow said, thank you for another great video. By the way, I love the outtakes at the end of these videos. They always make my day. They also make my day. They make me laugh. I make me laugh. There's not much else going on. So when I'm starting to make me laugh, you know it's bad. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. And until next time, I'll see you later. Okay. I hate my hair today. F*** off train, you mother. Top 5 biggest. I need to burp.